Well, hello, my friends. Blessing and peace on you. Welcome, guys. It's Wednesday, and this is Prophetic Wednesday, and I call you guys bless in Jesus' name. How are you? Listen, guys, you're going to love this show because we're going to get into some really cool dream interpretation today. We're going to be talking about dreams. We're going to be talking about next level dreaming. We're actually going to be reading some dreams. We want to give place for you to write down your dream and to comment. And that reminds me of my great responsibility to tell you to be sure and comment, be sure and like, and be sure and share. I mean, come on, you got to share. You got to be nice. It doesn't cost anything to just push that button. Guys, God bless you so much. Troy Brewer, Senior Pastor, Open Door Church, here on the stage today with my good friend, Miss Cindy McGill. What's going on, man?
Oh, I'm having a great time.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
I love dreams.
Yeah, I do
You
too.
know that.
I do too. I love dreams. You and I went out together on New Year's Eve with a team of people interpreting dreams on the street.
Yes, we did.
In Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes, we did.
Man, it was so much fun.
It was.
It was so much fun.
It's just the beginning.
It is just the beginning. Listen, well, guys, we're actually going to be doing all kinds of resources this year on dreams and dream interpretation, and she and I and my partner in crime, Jamie Galloway, are going to put together a bunch of stuff, and I can't wait to do that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
right on.
I think it will.
Okay, so guys, today, on this Prophetic Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the prophetic significance of dreaming. And guys, I want to just tell you that one of the things that Cindy does is, instead of her prophetically telling everybody what God is speaking to her, and whenever you do dream interpretation, you're telling them what God is speaking to them. So they're telling you, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. And I never really thought about that until you said that at our podcast a while ago. I was like, man, that's right on.
It is, and not only are they telling you something of a secret or a message that they've received, but you're also honoring them by listening well.
That's really good.
So when you listen well, they feel, because a lot of people just are never listened to. So when you're listening and you're absorbing their dream that they're telling you, you're actually honoring them, and you're giving them value.
Okay, so we know that this is a Joseph season that we're in, and we know that. And a big part of the Joseph anointing is dream interpretation.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That actually, as a matter of fact, the Lord started off with Joseph by giving him dreams, but he didn't handle his own dreams very well. No. And so God didn't give him any more dreams. There's no more, after he, made everybody mad and said, hey, I saw the sun, moon, and stars bowing down to me, and that's you guys. What a hillbilly. Anyway, he learned the hard way. But God quit giving him dreams, and then God started giving him the interpretation of other people's dreams, and that's what actually elevated him.
Yeah.
That's what brought him into great positions of authority.
Right. Well, your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. And so,
where'd you read that at?
Yeah, right. Where did I read that?
that's actually good.
It's in Proverbs.
Okay, right on. No, I know where it's at, Cindy.
Okay.
I was just joking.
Okay.
I have read the Bible.
That's a good thing.
It is. I know.
Thing.
It is a good thing. So another thing too, and then it goes to a whole nother level when it's Daniel in Babylon.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're talking about when God takes you into a foreign place, Egypt. God takes you into another foreign place, Babylon, and then he gives you the interpretation of other people's nightmares.
Yeah.
And then that gives you the authority to bring the kingdom into that entire place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm so blown away with the whole thing of Daniel telling Nebuchadnezzar, this is what you dreamed.
Yes.
And now that I got your attention, okay, now I'm going to tell you what the dream means.
You know what I really like about that too is that they went in and they prayed and they sought the Lord to get the dream. And I always call them the dream team intercessors. They went in and sought the Lord for God to give him the dream.
And no pressure. I mean, it's not like they're all about to be burned to death. No, they were.
Well, them and their houses.
There you go.
And their whole families were in jeopardy. So he stepped in as a type of Christ.
You have gold on your forehead right now?
Do I?
Yeah. Yeah. You.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got to look up some gold specks on you. That's
but it's
crazy.
like he stepped in as a type of Christ in order to deliver people from this evil oppression that was coming on them.
Okay. Well, so does the Lord ever tell you that somebody dreamed something? Does that ever happen to you? Yeah.
It happens to me now more and more, but I had to steward the gift. So it wasn't something that just happened to me just very quickly. It's not like a microwave thing where you just, I had to literally pay attention. And the more I paid attention to it, the more God revealed the art and the craft of dream interpretation to me. And now I'm so keened in when I go on the street or anywhere. If I see someone, I can almost begin to tell you their dream before they tell me their dream.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. So I can
you're
hear
already
it.
flowing in the prophetic of dream interpretation before they even tell you the dream. Yeah.
Well, and then they'll start to tell me a dream, and I'll go, "That's not the one."
Yeah, that's
right.
I heard you do that when we were in Fort Worth. You went, "No, not that one.
That's not that one. Give
Not
me
that
the other one."
Yeah, what's
right.
the other one? Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so friends, we are going to get into some dream interpretation here, and we actually have some of these. You have room on there to give your dream. For those of y'all that want to write a small book, and like I have 10 billion gazillion details and all that, that's not what this is. One of the things that I'll tell you that people miss, and they just miss what the dream's about, and they can't see the forest for the trees, and that's one of the things. I got an excellent dream interpretation team with Kip and with Tab, and one of the things that I'm always saying to them is just tell them what the dream means. Just do you have the actual, what is the dream about?
Yeah.
Well, because people it's good to remember the details, right?
Yes.
Because it's the handiwork. That's the details. But you can literally miss the whole thing of the dream by just going after crazy stuff.
Right, and you get caught in the details, and then it dilutes the entire message of the dream.
Right.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. Okay, so we have some, and the first one here is from my good friend, Sherry Jobgen. Now, Sherry's a good friend of mine, and she's kind of a hillbilly. She's got a big-time hillbilly husband, and they come out to the ranch all the time. And I always call her Sherry Horton because it's on her Facebook, Sherry Horton Jobgen. So I'd like it duly noted. I said your name right. Okay. So she said this: I had a dream that I was flying around a room at the ceiling and yelling for somebody to open the door. Nobody would open the door. And there were two people in the room, one that I knew that there were two people in the room I knew was there, but I never saw them. I was just aware that they were there. The other person I have only known for a few months, and the other person, there was two people. The other person I have known for only a few months. Do you know that you write like a hillbilly, Sherry? Just tell you. Or did you go to school at Itasca? Is that where you went? So I say this. So do you got the dream? Do you understand what the dream is? Okay. So what do you think that means? If you're flying around in a room saying somebody needs to open the door.
Yeah, I think it's a timing issue. I think it's a calling dream for sure. But there's a time for the door to be open. There's something, you're flying around, you've hit your ceiling, basically, and you're not able to go any farther, but you're waiting for someone to open the door. You're screaming for someone to open the door, but you have to pay attention to the people that were in the room. You said two people in the room. One I knew was there, but I've never seen, and the other person I've known for only a few months. There seems to be something that you need to do, or there's some sort of action or interaction that needs to take place with these two people in the room, or two people in the room before that door is opened or that ceiling is lifted for you.
Really good.
So that otherwise they wouldn't be in the dream. There wouldn't be two people in the dream.
What do you think? What do you think it means that she knew that they were there? She knew who they were, but she actually never saw them.
Well, it says the two people were in the room. One I knew was there and never seen. The other person I've only known for a few months. So she must have seen one of them. So I think that, again, it's a preview of things to come. You'll probably end up meeting that person somewhere along the line. In your spiritual growth, in your spiritual time of growth, you're going to meet the person. You've already known one. There's going to be one that he'll probably bring, or that person will bring another in. And there's some interaction that needs to take place with you two before that ceiling is lifted for you. And I think it's a flying dream, so I love that because it's a prophetic dream. It has to do with seeing from another level. And it has to do effortless, but you've reached your ceiling. So I believe that it's going to happen pretty quickly. Whatever this is, whatever this encounter is, I believe it's going to happen pretty quick. And you've only known this other person for a few months, so there's a new acquaintance or a new engagement that you're going to have with someone that you've known for a few months and someone else that's going to enter into the scene or the picture.
That's outstanding. Okay, that's excellent. All right, I like that very, very, very much. When you interpret dreams, or when you come across people who have dreams, and you actually said this, you have to steward this, and this is something you have to exercise. It's a lifestyle that you have to live, and you have to do that. Did you actually see an increase in your dream life and how God spoke to you through dreams once you really begin to partner with God concerning other people's dreams, or how does that work for you?
Yes, I did, but I would have repetitive dreams, and I would have dreams that were layered. Like I knew when I would have dreams, they weren't just scattered like they used to be. They were intentional. So, for instance, when we were building the documentary for the Dreams, a documentary to show at a film festival, I had a repetitive dream that I was always on. I always got a first-class seat on an airplane, but it would never get elevation. It would only go just a few hundred feet off the ground. And we go under underpasses, and I'd watch the wings of the plane thinking, they're going to clip trees or something, and that kind of thing. And it never really got height. Never.
Would you give me a drink, please, ma'am?
It never
I'm
really.
so sorry to ask you to do that. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
It never really got off the ground. And so I was sharing this dream actually in one of my dream classes, and I said, this is a repetitive dream. I keep having it. I always get the last seat in first class. I know it's a first class project, but it doesn't seem to ever get off the ground. And someone in the class who had no dream training at all said, well, you need a new pilot.
Wow.
That's not fair.
Wow.
That's not fair. In other words, you need someone who knows how to get this off the ground, because the pilot that you have in place doesn't know how to get altitude.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good.
So we begin to bring other people into our project, and we did get it off the ground, who
Praise
actually
God.
knew what they were doing.
That's crazy.
I know,
That's crazy.
right? And I'd probably had it like 6 times.
All right, I'm going to tell you a couple of crazy dreams
Okay.
that I had.
Okay.
Okay, and they're not like this, So I had this dream. Okay, I don't know if I should tell this story or not. I said, do I need to tell that story? I think I will. So I have the kinds of dreams that are highly instructional. That I also have the kinds of dreams where I'm experiencing things, and I have dreams sometimes where I'm actually making choices throughout the whole dream. Okay, where I'm actually like, I can go through if I go through this, hey, thank you so much. Thanks, Kip. You're a rock star. Hey, would you just kind of hold my mic for me?
Yeah, or I'll open your water. One of the
Let
two.
me open up this water.
Okay.
I don't want to start coughing and hacking. Oh, Zarka. All right, praise God. Okay, so I think I'm better now. I think I'm going to make it.
That's good.
I'm just going to drop this down here. Watch. Okay, everything I do is planned. All right, so I have these. Sometimes I have dreams where again I'm making choice. What do you call that? What's the word for that? Is that
When you're prophetically dreaming that you're making choices in
yes?
the dream?
Well, I mean, where I'm like actually in this dream, and I'm there somehow, and I mean, I know I can choose right or left or whatever, and as I am, I'm actually interacting in a really big way.
Yeah, it's directional dreams. Yeah, that God will give you guidance in your dreams. You know this, and He'll give you the ability to see which one, the red pill or the blue pill, kind of thing. And so you'll have that advantage in a dream, so that when you wake up, you can make the right decision. So these are things that are it's just God's way of speaking to us, and advising us on the direction and path that we're going down. And oftentimes, dreams like that will happen when we're in decision-making times.
Yes.
We talked about teeth falling out dreams where you lose teeth, if you're making decisions and you don't have all the facts, because you're in danger of swallowing something whole, because you're gumming it at that point. And so it's important to go back. But in your case, you're just being given 2 directions. Like, do you want to take this path or this path? And I would say that if you're interacting in that dream and you continue to go with it, it'll reveal to you what the outcome will be, whether you take this path or whether you take that path. Then when you wake up, you can make the correct decision. It's not a guessing game anymore. Yeah.
You and I were talking earlier, and you told me that you have a teaching on the wise men that came from Babylon over to Jerusalem, and because they being warned of a dream not to go back to Herod, they went another way. And you pointed out, and I'm saying it's brilliant, that they all had the same dream.
They did. It says they, being divinely warned in a dream, not to return to Herod, which told me that one didn't dream it and stand up and tell the others.
Yeah, it's
they
plural,
all had the same dream. And they were, again, it was at a very strategic time. They were in violation of the law. They were instructed and demanded to come back to Herod and report to him where the child is, so in his words he could go and worship him too, or be with, and they didn't do it. So when the pressure was on, they each all had the same dream.
So it was a collective dream.
Yes.
They're individual people, but they all had the same dream.
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys, man, you ever heard anything like that? Because that's biblical. There's a biblical precedent actually for that.
Yeah. Well, and two, I think it took that because they were in danger of losing their own lives if they didn't obey what they were supposed to do.
Right on.
So that's to the degree that your instruction, you're in a situation that is very dangerous for you or whatever, you're going to have more vivid dreams. You're going to have more dreams where God will instruct you. And I think that's something that we don't pay attention to all the time. We don't always consider that to be a very solid and valid vehicle of communication from God. It's his decision to give us dreams. And we didn't choose that. People have said to me over and over again. Right. They said, well, this is New Age. And I go, no, it's not. It's Genesis. Yeah. I mean, God did this from the very beginning. It was his desire to do this. But the New Age took it and went with it because we didn't.
So, hey, man, so for all you haters out there that are like, hey, let me tell you something, man. We enjoy your hatred. We really do. It doesn't bother us at all. But I do want to just say this to you. If you're like, you shouldn't have anything to do with dreams and you shouldn't have anything to do with numbers because people do really bad things with those things. You don't say that about money and you don't say that about sex. And you're hypocritical, bunch of baloney. What's real is Jesus is talking to people today, and God Almighty is speaking. And I want to tell you something. Jesus is knocking on the hearts of people that the world does not celebrate, and he's telling them profound things.
Yes.
And there's not a place in the body of Jesus that's big enough. And we need to change that and say, this is real and this is legitimate.
Right. Well, especially because it is the last days.
Yes.
According to Joel 2:28,
That's right.
We brought this up before, that he's going to, God said, in the last days, I, God, will pour my spirit out on all flesh. That means people that do and don't know him, they're going to have dreams, they're going to have visions, they're going to have visitations and prophetic things. And so we get to unpack that for them and say, this is from God. This dream is from God. Well, I don't believe in God. Well, God gave you the dream.
That's right.
It's like,
that's great. So you're actually, of course, what you're doing is you're using it as an evangelical tool, knowing that God is already speaking to these people and he's trying to reach them. Mm-hmm. And if you're religious and if you think that God doesn't love anybody, you're not going to believe that anyway. Right?
Yeah.
So, but still, man, you go and you do that, and then sure as shooting, they're like, okay, well, I have had a dream, as a matter of fact, and I do need to tell you about that.
Sure. And oftentimes, because they don't really know you and they don't know what you're going to say, if you ask them, have you had a dream? They'll tell you a really easy dream or something that's just very not important to them to test you, to find out how are you going to handle that dream.
I see.
And then once they see that it's favorable and that you can bring light or bring some life into that dream, they'll tell you the real dream.
Okay.
They'll tell you the real dream.
That's awesome.
And it'll be very personal, and it's something that will give them information, give them hope, give them some sort of direction, especially as it pertains to loss of people. They'll have dreams that a loved one has passed away, and this loved one has passed away, and they'll come back and visit them in the dream. It's not the loved one visiting them in the dream; it's the memory of what they said or how how they impacted their life, and it'll be something that will bring them into a closer relationship, with the one who made them. And then they're tearing up and they're crying and they want to know more, or they'll grab your hands and they know that you're speaking on a spiritual level to them where they can understand and they feel like there's a ray of hope in the middle of their grief.
Friends, you are watching Prophetic Wednesday, and I'm so glad that y'all join us. It's a really big deal. And I'm here with Cindy McGill. This is Cindy McGill. And I want to tell you, man, that we know that God is speaking today prophetically. And one of the ways that God is speaking prophetically, one of the voices that the Lord likes to use prophetically is the voice of dreaming. And that's taking place right now. And guys, there needs to be credibility and legitimacy from the pulpits in America towards how God is speaking to his people, instead of saying, that's just kind of dangerous and that's just kind of weird. Again, people don't do that with other stuff.
Right.
It's just crazy. So I just want to bless it. So let's interpret this dream. Lorena Velasquez says to us, I dreamed that I was holding a baby on my knees and it was a boy. And then she says it was of another race, just a few weeks old. I was playing with him and he was smiling, and I began to nurse him, and I marveled at how well he took to breastfeeding because my daughter wasn't able to do that. And then I woke up. Okay, I really like this dream.
I do too.
I like this. I like it that you know that this is not your natural child, but that this is your child. Okay, I like that.
Right.
And okay, go ahead.
Well, it doesn't say that she birthed it.
That's right.
Either.
That's right.
It says that she was holding this baby, a boy, on her knees and just a few weeks old.
Yes.
And so it tells me that she's been given responsibility on feeding, on nurturing, on bringing them nutrition in their spiritual growth.
God, I want to tell you, it's also a huge sign of redemption. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. In the book of Ruth, okay, Ruth's mother-in-law miraculously began to breastfeed. Okay, and she was an old woman.
Right.
Do you remember that? And so it was after this big act of redemption had taken place, she was literally became the nurse to whatever village she lived in. And she was an old woman. And that shouldn't have been able to happen. And God Almighty made it happen. So following a huge act of redemption, I think that's part of that as well, just an amazing redemptive act. And I think it's probably a big part of also, too, this little boy and taking this little boy in type thing. So this baby that the Lord is trusting you with, it didn't come from you, but it's coming to you.
Right. And it has to do with probably a ministry that you're called to that you didn't necessarily birth. And that's why you said in the dream, my daughter didn't take to breastfeeding at all. Well, you're going to have all these children after you've lost the one. And so it's like all these children are now going to be in your care so that you can begin to feed them spiritually and give them what's been entrusted to you. That's why it's breastfeeding. It's coming from you. It's coming from what God has invested in you that you're giving out now to those that are orphan spirits or whatever, just children that just need to be fed, and they need to understand and be reared and trained up in the way that they should go. So it's a ministry call.
I think it's also really cool too that she knows that this child is a different race.
Yes.
Right? So what you come from, this thing that's coming to you does not come from what you come from.
No.
It's a whole different mamba jamba.
Right. Yes.
I like that.
I do too.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's also why we know that it's some sort of a ministry call, or it's something that she'll be responsible for, or being given an opportunity to take up and rear.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, let's go ahead and let's just do one more. Guys, isn't this fun? Come on, isn't this fun? It's so much fun. Hey, I want you to put down your dream. Now, do not write a book. Okay, do not write me a book, okay? I'll pull it up and I'll just go, I already got a headache. No, please don't do that. Just write down, a simple part of your dream, and please share that with us. And if you haven't liked this, be sure and like this. And if you haven't commented, be sure and do that. And if you haven't shared it, be sure and do that. So let's do one more.
Okay.
Okay? All right, Cindy McGill, let's see here. In a dream, I saw a short staircase. And by the way, this is Patsy Glenn from Malakoff, Texas. Man, like Malakoff, Texas, like a Malakoff cocktail. And in my dream, I saw a short staircase, and I was standing at the top of it. And I looked down, and I saw a treasure chest with all kinds of coins. Oh, I like this dream.
I do too.
I love standing at the top of the okay. And one coin was standing up, and it was $50. And then I saw a plastic toy knife and gun laying on top. Okay. Then I looked down the short stairs and I saw another treasure chest that was filled with coins and 3 gold watches laid on top of the coins. And then she goes on to explain, one belonged to a brother-in-law, another one belonged to another family person who has gone on, and then the last one belonged to Patsy's father, who is also deceased. And I remember picking up and looking at it, and she goes on to describe this watch, a black face,
Seiko?
Yeah, Seiko.
Seiko?
Which my father never owned. He only had a Timex. That's funny.
Which was not gold, it was silver.
That's right. Which
Yeah.
was not gold. It was silver. Okay. So standing at the top of the stairs, looking down, right on, and finding a treasure chest. And then, so what do you got?
Short staircase looking down. Basements are often hidden things that you didn't see or you didn't know were there. Again, it was treasures. So it has a treasure chest with all kinds of coin. One coin standing up on its side, it was $50. So it wasn't a full dollar. It doesn't mean that that's their full reward. It's just half of what they see. Then they saw a plastic toy knife and a gun laying on top. I think those have to do with spiritual weapons. And that has to do with things that really aren't going to get you anywhere. They're just
They're childish.
They're childish.
And they're toys and they're not legit weapons.
Nope, they're not. They're not. But nonetheless, it was only half of what she was supposed to see. Then she looked down the other stairs, saw the other treasure chest filled with coins, 3 gold watches. That tells me about time.
That's right.
There's a timing issue involved, and when you're going to get the other part of this inheritance or this part of this treasure that's stored up for you, or hidden for you. I'm going to say hidden for you. And they laid on top of the coins. One belonged to the father-in-law, Randall, living brother-in-law, Randall. Another to my niece-in-law's father, whom she's never met and is deceased. And the last one in the middle was my father, who's deceased, remembering picking it up. So anyway, it's an upgrade in watch. It's an upgrade in being able to see things clearly. It has to do with family inheritance. It has to do with people that are you're related to. There's a living brother-in-law. There's a dead niece's father-in-law, and then there's a father.
Yep.
And so it all has to do with family inheritance. It has to do with things that are stored up for you. They are hidden for you from now. But there's a timing involved as to when these things will be revealed to you or given to you, and it's an inheritance of a sort.
Okay, I totally agree with that 10,000%. I would say the only thing that I would like to add to that is the key part of when you picked up your daddy's watch, you knew it was your daddy's watch, but it was a watch he never actually owned. And you know what? That's being passed down to you for you to own it.
Yes.
And it comes through your dad, okay? And he didn't own it. You're going to. You're going to handle it. You're going to look at it in the face. You're going to behold its face, right?
Right.
And you're going to own it. And that's a good word.
Yeah. And the fact that the Timex was not gold, it was silver, that tells me that, again, it's an upgrade.
Yep.
It has to do with an upgraded metal. So I believe that you're going to have a watch. And, oftentimes people just didn't use their things they were given before they died either. So if they didn't use it, you have the opportunity to have it passed down to you spiritually.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, man, you're listening to Cindy McGee and myself. Cindy McGill and myself. How do people get a hold of you, Cindy?
I have a website, cindymcgill.org.
Okay, cindymcgill.org. And I call you blessed. And you know what? Hey, listen, Cindy and we're going to do a whole bunch of cool dream stuff this year. And we're going to come out with some really cool stuff. And as a matter of fact, I actually have some dream interpretation cards right now. Can I shamelessly plug that?
Go ahead.
Thank you. It's my show.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, very good. So I do have a dream interpretation cards. I also have this. I have a soaking CD for dreams and encounters. And it's like really cool.
That's good.
It is. It's like really cool.
Yeah.
And I like that. And all that stuff is available at troybrewer.com. Hey, listen, make this a big, huge part of your life. Come on, make this a huge part of your life.
I have a book.
So I was about to ask you about that. So you do have a book on.
I do have a book.
And-
My only book yet, but other ones are coming out.
Okay, so what is your book?
It's called What Your Dreams Are Telling You, Unlocking Solutions While You Sleep.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so it also has a little bit of an index in the back about symbols. You can't get caught up in symbols because everything's like a puzzle. You have to have the whole entire picture in order to make the scene for you so that you can
Yes.
interpret the scene. So
Yes.
symbols are just symbols until they're put into something. And then it also has a little bit of a dream journal that I created, where a repetitive dream, where you can have it once, you date it, you live life, you have it again, and then you figure out what your life pattern is between the time you did have that dream and when you had it again.
Wow.
And it'll start to make sense to you about your own journey.
Dang. Okay. Well, my stuff might not be as cool as that, but I got stuff too. I'm just telling y'all, I do. Actually, man, thank you so much for that, Cindy.
Yeah,
I'm so
you're welcome.
grateful. I really and truly am. Friends, listen, man, I just want to encourage you to, as a matter of fact, on this night, Cindy is going to be here on this night, and she is actually going to be doing dream interpretation. So be looking for that here at Open Door Church. All right, my friends, I'm gonna let you guys go. Come to Open Door Church and be here tonight, man. And I call you guys the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, and highly favored of the Lord. Bye-bye, everybody.